Hey guys, VideoJames, and today we're going to be taking a look at how to use Flygon. Now, Flygon is something that a lot of people have really wanted me to do a video on. I've really wanted to do a video on, but I was kind of waiting for a lot of stuff. I was waiting for the Gen 7 buff. I was waiting to see if there were any new viable strats that could actually be used for Flygon. And I was waiting to see if anyone would actually want to do it, because back when I started the channel, really no one wanted Flygon. And then around the Gen 7 buff, still really no one wanted Flygon until after Dragon Dance was announced. But anyway, Flygon is one of the major favorites of a lot of Pokemon players, that a lot of people have loved Flygon ever since he was introduced, that he's just a fan favorite almost all the way across the board. That you can't find someone who says they wouldn't want to use Flygon if he was viable. And there are actually many ways that Flygon is viable. So we're going to look at his typing first. We see Ground and Dragon. Okay, now tell me that doesn't sound like Zygarde. But anyway, we got the Ground Dragon type with the ability Levitate. Now that's just one thing about Flygon that bugs me. Like, it flies already. It has Levitate. It's a self-taught move. Why would you give it the same nature? Like, I mean, even Sand Force or Sandstream or something would have been better on Flygon than Levitate. I mean, really? Just Levitate? It's okay for Vibrava, because Vibrava kind of needs it a little bit, because it needs one of those immunities. But it's still, no. Not Levitate on a Flygon. No. Make it like a Vibrava middle thing. Make it like a Charjabug thing. But anyway, we see that Flygon, while it does get the 4 times weakness to Ice, as well as a 2 times weakness to Dragon and Fairy, it also gets that immunity to Electric, and thanks to the unwanted aforementioned ability, it gets an immunity to Ground type. And we do actually get resistance to Fire, Poison, and Rock, and then everything else we do just get damaged normally by. And then we see that we got Electric is one thing that we can kill easily, as well as basically Rock, Steel, Dragon, basically anything that we can kill, Flygon can get at it. And what's weird to me is that Flygon is in the Bug Egg group only, and it's not in the Dragon Egg group. I would think that Flygon would at least get part of a Dragon Egg group. It's like with how Charizard has Dragon Egg group, but it's not a dragon. I had an itchy eye. But anyway, moving on to Flygon's stats, we see this is where the Gen 7 buff came in. That Flygon's got 80 all across the board now, except for his attack and speed, which are both balanced at an equal 100. So we see that we got another 100 base speed Pokemon. And I am kind of glad that they didn't make every speed 80, because that would have just been another type null in Savali. That would have been another case of, we don't want that here, get that out of here, go away. God, my eye is really itchy today. But we see that Flygon can actually be a sweeper, while at the same time he does have the potential to be a tank from these 80s in all the defenses and HP. And then moving over into Showdown, we see that the first set, of course, is a Choice Scarf set. Almost all of the Pokemon I do videos on, I always try and find a Choice Scarf set, just because a lot of people like using choice items. It's the easiest set to comprehend, and almost every Pokemon can benefit from a choice item set. So we see this one is just a Choice Scarf Flygon with maxed out attack and speed with the Adamant Nature, and then we just got Dragon Claw and Earthquake for stab, Steel Wing for that takedown on Fairy and Ice, and then just U-turn to get us out of a situation we don't want to be in. And we see that with Flygon's speed and stuff, we aren't really getting much. We are getting 299 in the speed, but after the Choice Scarf adds up, that would actually be a lot more than a Togekiss, because Togekiss only gets to 298, and that actually is with all maxed out speed and a speed boosting nature. So we would be outspeeding stuff that isn't speed boosted with a Choice Scarf like Togekiss. You could run a speed boosting nature, but again, I kind of like the attack boosting nature just so Flygon has some viability in terms of hitting back. I mean, he does get up into the 430s with the Choice Scarf. I think he actually gets to 440, let me think. Yeah, about 440, because he gets about 149 extra. So we get in the 430-somethings, 440 actually. And then we see the next Flygon set is actually a Life Orb Dragon Dance set. Now everyone wants to see Dragon Dance on this thing. Dragon Dance is a move that Flygon has been waiting on for its entire existence. And then in Gen 7, we finally got our wish. So we see that we got Dragon Dance, Dragon Claw, Earthquake, and Steel Wing. Dragon Claw and Earthquake, again, for that stab. And then Steel Wing for that coverage on Ice types. Again, that you can run Fire Punch, but I like Steel Wing because it also has the coverage on Fairies. And then we see that we got the maxed out HP to kind of give us that chance to actually tank a hit and have some damage left over for the life orb. And just all the 224 into the speed, so that we've got 321, making our speed actually very decent. And then we see that we've got the rest, the 32 thrown into the attack, so that Dragon Dance can boost it up into the 360s, making us actually quite capable of taking out a couple Pokemon with the life orb damage added on. And then we see the next set is an Endure special set that Flygon gets access to Boom Burst as well as Giga Drain, which is actually surprising. I wouldn't think Flygon would get Giga Drain. However, Giga Drain I think is a tutor move, and Boom Burst is a pre-evolution move for Vibrava, so, you know. But anyway, we've got Endure, Boom Burst, Giga Drain, and Dragon Pulse with the Salac Berry, and the maxed out speed and special attack with a modest nature. Now, the reason behind this set is, after one Endure, most likely you will get taken out by a lot of stuff, because Flygon's defenses without any investment only reach the 196, so you're not really going to be taking anything. But if you use Endure first turn, which you pretty much always will with this set, then you kick off the Salac Berry once you get to below 1/4 health, raising your speed by a stage, bringing you up into about the 400s, like a Dragon Dance would. And then we've got the special attack maxed out almost to where it's almost matching a 320 in the attack. And then we see we got Boom Burst for that major damage, that 140 base power with 100% accuracy makes Boom Burst absolutely lethal on anything that can use it. And then we got Giga Drain just for that health recovery, that if we want to get another Endure, we can use Giga Drain and take the hit again. And then we got Dragon Pulse just for that stab damage. That you could use Bulldoze, which some people do like to use Bulldoze, but with this set, Dragon Pulse does sometimes work a little bit better. That Dragon Pulse kind of gives us that stab plus the higher amount of power. Actually, no, Bulldoze gives us higher power. I don't know why I thought Dragon Dance did. But anyway, before I screw myself up even more, the next set we see is actually a tanky set on Flygon, which I never actually thought about. Flygon having a tanky set didn't really seem like a possible thing. Alright. So now, sorry about that, Showdown really does do this a lot lately. But we see this set is actually a tanky Flygon set, that we've got the Substitute and Roost, as well as Toxic and Earthquake. That this is kind of the tank out all your opponents set without actually landing a hit. So we see we've got Substitute just to give us kind of that edge so we don't really get hit. Roost for that healing in case we need it, which we most likely will need it. Toxic so that we can let our opponent wear themselves down while we're not really doing anything. And then just Earthquake for that straight stab and damage. And we see we got the Lychee Berry, so if we manage to substitute down to a low enough health, that we can actually have the Lychee Berry kick off and raise our attack, giving us that little bit of boost we need to get in the 360-20, or 368. And then we see we've got the maxed out HP, 220 in the special defense, and then 32 in the actual attack. And that kind of makes Flygon actually viably usable as a tank. There are other ways to kind of shift around its defenses, like you could put the stuff into the defenses and not the special defense, but with Flygon being weak to ice, you are going to see a lot more special defensive moves being used against it than you will probably with a defensive move, so it would probably be a better idea to have special defense using on a Flygon. And then we see this isn't really a move set, this is just kind of a sort of thing that you can use. These are like little extras that Flygon gets access to Home Claws and Tailwind. Tailwind is actually viable, but I couldn't really find a set that worked well enough with it. That Tailwind didn't really run as well as I would have hoped. Flygon can't really make much use out of Tailwind and survive at the same time, unless it uses something like Explosion, which it unfortunately does not get access to. But anyway, that's pretty much it for how to use Flygon. Again, Flygon, so much usefulness, yet no one ever uses it. I really wish Flygon would show back up, but with the amount of Greninjas and all that are running around with Ice Beam and Dragon Pulse and all that, we don't really see much safety for Flygon. That a lot of its weaknesses actually are out there and do exist, so he can't really do much in terms of staying alive that long. But anyway, voice crack. But anyway, I'm leaving this video here. If you guys have any Pokemon you want me to do, again, please leave them down in the comments. And if you like this video, slap the like button in the face, and I will see you guys later.